Hello there, my name is Les Ross. I'm the Director of Golf at the online golf school, HighlanderSchoolofGolf.com. I'm also the author of the golf ebook, Breaking the Distance Barrier, which is all about the mechanics and the physics of different elements of the golf swing. During this video I want to talk about swing plane. There's a lot being written about swing plane, different articles, there's a lot of videos all about it. And I'm sure there's a lot of confusion out there because there seems to be different theories about swing plane. So I just want to go over some of those theories, but then offer up my own definition of what truly is swing plane and what actually governs it. Probably one of the most common theories out there that I'm sure everybody's seen is the one that was offered up by Ben Hogan in his book. And that is that the definition of swing plane angle is governed from the position of the ball in the stance as a straight line from the ball up across your shoulders. And I'm going to use a little prop here just to show you what that looks like. The club I've got in my hand is a pitching wedge, pretty short club. I'm going to use this piece of wood here just to define the swing plane angle with a pitching wedge. So in all of the things that I'm demonstrating, one thing I want to just mention to you is my stance, position, hand angle and everything I'm going to try and keep the same. So here I'm in this position here, this is my normal position for a pitching wedge, and you can look at that angle now. It's pretty steep. That's a pretty steep swing plane. I'm going to use a slightly longer club now. Actually, it's the longest club, the driver, and just show you what change that makes to the swing plane angle based on Ben Hogan's definition. Again, my hands and my stance are in exactly the same position, but now you look at that angle and it's a lot shallower. So that's one definition of swing plane angle. The other common definition is one that's based on the angle at which the club is relative to the ground. So from the ball position to the hand position, that really defines the swing plane angle. So again, I've got a driver in my hand, and you just look at that angle, see what that represents. Again, I'm just telling you that I'm in exactly the same position, stance position, my hand's in the same position, you just look at that angle. Now, when I get into the same stance position with a pitching wedge, now look at the angle. Alright, my hands are in the same position, my stance is exactly the same, but obviously a different swing plane angle. What both of those theories would suggest is that the swing plane is going to vary from club to club, right? Because the angle is changing, and that's not the case. So that's pretty confusing for the golfer because they're thinking, well, maybe I have to swing a different way for a driver as against a pitching wedge. So here's what I suggest is a better definition of swing plane angle, and that is the angle at which your left arm, I'm obviously talking for a right-hander, the angle at which your left arm makes relative to the ground. So a high swing plane is a high angle, a shallow swing plane is, or a flat swing plane is a shallow angle. Swing plane, and the reason why I say that, the swing plane is not a function of your setup. You know, your setup comes into play, but it's not what determines the swing plane angle. As I showed you earlier, you know, I was in exactly the same stance position, but the angle changes from club to club. What defines a swing plane angle is the relative motion of your shoulders. Your shoulders can move in two directions, or two planes. They can move in a horizontal plane, as I'm showing here, about the axis of your trunk. And they can also move in the vertical plane around the point that's center of your collarbone. So the swing plane angle of your left arm at the end of the swing is going to be a function of the relative motion of both of those movements in both of those planes, so in the vertical plane and the horizontal plane. So a flat plane or a shallow angle would suggest that there's more horizontal motion in your backswing. So if I demonstrate here, if I'm turning my shoulders more in this direction, I'm going to get a flatter angle. If I'm moving my shoulders more in the vertical plane, I'm going to get more upright angles. So in this situation, I've got a more upright plane. So swing plane then is not a function you set up. Although the setup does impact it to some extent, it's really a function of your relative shoulder movement. So I hope that clarifies that a little bit for you, because one of the things you want to realize is that regardless of what club is in your hand, you want to swing in exactly the same arm plane as possible. And it's got nothing to do with the length of the club or the angle the club is with the ground. It's all about the relative motion of your shoulders in both the horizontal motion and the vertical plane. So thanks very much for listening. If you get the opportunity, visit our website at highlanderschoolofgolf.com. You'll see some interesting stuff in there, some free videos with other tips, and sign up for our newsletter, because I send out a regular newsletter. It's got lots of little tips that will help you, some of which have come from the book, Breaking the Distance Barrier. So I look forward to working with you in the future, and thanks for listening. Bye.